You're entering championship rounds. This is 5-Round MMA. I'm Guillermo Cita alongside Alex Ramirez and Albert Cita. Today's top headlines, we have Yushin Okami being released. We have Glover Teixeira versus John Bone Jones being announced. But we begin with Michael Bisping being out. Machida in against Mark Munoz. Alex, is this a number one contender fight?
I think it should be because I think previously Munoz and Bisping had a lot of implications in the division. I think now with Machida dropping down and entering in Bisping's spot, it should be number one contender spot. Yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I mean, Mark Munoz just beat the red hot Tim Boach. And Machida has always been the number one contender in 205.
Well,
so
first of all, he said red hot Tim Boach, which I wouldn't say he lost to Costa Philippou before that, so I wouldn't say red hot Tim Boach.
Well, you know what I meant.
But,
I think,
as far as contenders, there is nobody besides at the moment with Mark Munoz and Michael Bisping.
Exactly.
And Vitor Belfort, but Vitor Belfort only
He's
won championship
in
or
his
nothing.
own world right now.
Yeah. So I think it's a number one contender.
Yeah, I think it's got a little more interesting. I mean, no offense to Michael Bisping, but I think
that this is a better fight for fans than the Michael Bisping fight. Because I think in the Michael Bisping fight, I mean, you could say whatever you want about Michael Bisping. I thought it was going to be a one-fighted fight.
Yeah.
And I really thought Mark Munoz was going to...
Oh, okay. I think the other way
No,
around.
no. I mean, I thought Mark Munoz
okay.
was just going to have an easy day.
And that fight was catered towards the UK audience. It was going to be held in England.
Yeah.
They wanted so. It's more of a broader audience now, I think.
Well, yeah, it's a broader audience because Michael Bisping was even apologizing, saying, I'm sorry for everybody that buy your tickets to see Michael Bisping.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to see a way better matchup in terms of names.
Yeah, and it's going to be free too, so.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next headline. It's Yushin Okami being released, talking with World Series of Fighting rumored. Your thoughts on why he was released, Albert? And if he does go to World Series of Fighting, what do you see in the future for him?
Well, my initial thought was it's bad. I mean, it's not like Yushin Okami is having this long streak of losses. I think he has some wins in between.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's losing to not top talent caliber. But I think the biggest reason why this is a horrible release is because he's a big Japanese star. And for UFC to get that international branding, you need these international stars. And if you don't have no other Japanese star there ready in the reserves, I mean, it's kind of bad to get rid of your number one Japanese fighter.
Yeah. I mean, for the longest time, Dana White has pegged him as the best fighter come out of Japan.
And it's not like again, he lost against caliber fighters.
Last was a Jacare.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Tim Boach before that.
So do you think it's more of like them getting tired of like?
I think
he reached his peak already. He's not going to get any better.
That's the only thing I can think. We can't really do much with Okami now because. What makes sense to match him up to if he can never break into the top 5?
Yeah. Well, he fought Anderson Silva. If Anderson Silva's towards the top, you don't want to see another fight between them two.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
He was kind of working his way back up, and he kept hitting speed bumps.
Yeah. And then the second thing, his fighting style. I think
that's a great point. Yeah.
I think that plays into
he switched
it because
it over.
He's switching more into a lay and pray.
Yeah,
I want to say lay and pray because that's what kind of
looks like.
True. That's a great point.
So I think that played into factor.
But I really think he shouldn't entertain the thought of World Series of Fighting. I really think he should go to Bellator. I think that's the smartest thing you can do. You can get a lot of wins under your belt real quickly
in a short amount of time,
and stay relevant. Because I mean, you got the good record, and you stay relevant as far as being like the Bellator finals champion or even the champion. So
that's true.
Yeah.
So let's move on. Let's move on to the last headline for today. It's Glover Teixeira versus John Bone Jones being announced.
First of all,
nothing official, but
rumored.
This shows you how he's a paper champion.
Wow.
Why? Why do you say that?
That's a bold statement, my friend.
No, it's not. It's a fact. He's a weenie. He's a coward. That's what he is. No,
it's the next person in line.
The guy that took him to limit was Alexander Gustafsson. The least you can do is show a rematch and show that why you're the champion.
But you call him a paper champion, but I don't think he had nothing to do with.
No, he had everything to do with it.
No, Dana White said him, this is what John Jones wants.
And John Jones said, "Look, I think I won that fight decisively."
Yeah.
There was no question marks. Why should I fight Alexander Gustafsson again?
Yeah,
that sounds to me like a coward that says, "Oh, I can't believe I dodged that bullet. Let's move on to the next one now."
Yeah,
that's a coward. He's a paper champion. If you're a real champion, if you're the pound for pound greatest, why does it matter who you fight? All right, everyone thinks that Alexander Gustafsson got the best out of John Bone Jones, or he was in there with John Bone Jones. Let's see the rematch and see if he can do it again. If he wins again, then okay, then I understand. Okay, let's move on to the next venture. But don't be a little
Well, maybe he doesn't want the rematch right now. Maybe he wants the
Why
rematch
not?
later on.
Well,
Aren't you the champion?
He
Aren't you
said
the
that
champion?
he said that after this is John Jones saying that after he beats Glover, Gustafson will be next.
See, so I mean,
But
But
I mean,
why?
yeah,
That makes no
there's no
sense.
guarantee that he'll get past Glover or
Yeah.
Gustafson will get past whoever he's fighting next. So it's kind of like
It's not like it's Dragon Ball Z. It's not like every single time he defeats an opponent, his power level goes up.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. I
Because
think
if that's what he's banking
yeah.
on,
I didn't know
he's
there was Dragon Ball
100%
Z
right.
I guess,
podcast now.
Another reference to Dragon Ball Z. I think Daniel White and the UFC could have done a better job of protecting their champion instead of saying, "Oh, this is what the champion wants, so we'll give him whatever he wants."
Yeah, they
They could
pretty
have said,
much
"No,
throw
this
him
is
in the
what we
butt,
think," but I don't know.
that makes him look weak, dog.
Yeah,
It's true.
Could have been handled better, I thought.
yeah,
Yeah.
it could have been handled. I don't think it makes him weak, but it could have been handled better. I think
it opens up for unwanted criticism. I think.
exactly.
Like the criticism I gave.
Like-
I just
exactly.
think this makes a good matchup between Gustafson versus Phil Davis, setting up.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I
I mean,
think
they're
they would-
teammates.
yeah.
And
I think the only
But they
fight,
fought before.
Yeah, I think they only fight each other if the
that was
belt's on the
before their
line.
teammates. So when they fought,
Yeah,
But
but if
I
the title's
think-
on the line,
But I think a no more contender bout would be kind of hard for them to do it. But I think if the title is on the line, like one of them's champion, I think they'll have no problem fighting each other. But
that's true.
yeah, oh,
Well, those
well, listen,
names are-
before we even get any further. I mean, we do have someone in the midst that's injured, but Gregory Musasi is
Yeah,
still
Mousasi,
in the
yeah.
sidelines, and we still haven't really heard about.
well, he
him,
wants Vitor
so.
Belfort bad.
yeah. Well, I remember he was supposed to fight Gustafson before Gustafson got cut. So who knows what could happen at that
That's
bout.
true,
That's true. So there's a lot here
Yeah.
pending.
So that's it for headlines today. We have an action-packed show. Alex, you wanna-
Action-packed Maximum Fighting Championship to the max at
I
500
think
today.
we raised our level up to maximum,
Yep,
and you guys will see it.
So yeah, we'll cover Maximum Fighting Championship today.
number
Yep.
38.
Yeah, we have a big pay-per-view coming up, or it'll be on Access TV. Please visit FiveRoundMMA.com on our social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. FiveRoundMMA.com. Drink fearless, fight fearless. In this corner, brought to you by Honey Badger, we have MFC bantamweight Tito Jones.
Hey Tito, this is Albert Sita. How you doing?
Hey, I'm well. How about yourself, brother?
Doing good. So this is your first fight with MFC, and actually it's for the first ever bantamweight title. Can you tell me what that means to you, and how amazing will it be just to be the first in this organization?
Oh man, it's a really amazing feeling. I'm really I'm elated. I'm excited to do it, and I'm just really, first of all, I'm just really happy that I'm getting to do something on such a large scale with the MFC, which is a awesome show, well recognized, and it's ran really smoothly by Mark Pavlich. And I'm just really happy to be doing, being able to go out there and do what I love to do. I'm just happy for the opportunity. So it's really simple. I'm just super excited, happy person. I don't even have the right words to explain it.
Oh, that's great. Hey, Tito, this is Alex Ramirez here. Your fight was voted by the fans to be the main event of MSC 38. How does that make you feel personally, knowing that the fans voted you to be in that main event spotlight?
Oh, it's exciting because like this is viewed as an individual sport, but when you get out there, you're doing it also for the fans. The people, even though it's just me and somebody else in the ring or the cage, you're fighting for a presence of fans, and to know that fans are supporting us and want to see us as the main event in Canada too. That's really amazing because we're two guys coming from south of the border, and they put us as the main event. So they must know that Anthony and I intend on getting in there and bringing some action. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, well, what does that speak volumes of MFC, giving that much power to the fans? It's kind of like they're like an organization for the fans, right?
Well, it's awesome. It is like their organization for the fans, and it's cool to see things just done a little differently. If anybody that's a fan of the sport knows that there's like a small monopoly how the sport's ran, and it's cool to see that Mark Pavlich and MSC are doing things thinking outside the box to give a different look and a different look and feel for the fans as well as for the fighters.
And then you were formerly fighting out of Arizona, and you reside in Sacramento, California now. Why'd you make that move? And how's the change of scenery like from California to Arizona?
That's actually a little misunderstanding there. I started off in Arizona with Arizona Combat Sports.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's where I first professional for about a year in 2006, and then I went and trained with Team Alpha Male. I lived with Uriah and those guys on the block. I was part of that team for a few years, and that's when I made my I fought for Strike Force Challengers, and then fought in Japan Valley Tudo. And then as of late, I went back to Arizona Combat Sports to train under Trevor Lawley, and I actually reside all the way in Florida. So it's a big little mix up
Oh wow.
all over the place. But I reside in Florida, but I go off to camps in Arizona Combat Sports right now.
Also, because how do you think important is that for a fighter to bounce around and get the best coaching, the best training partners for them to evolve thoroughly in their careers?
Well, I think it's great. Like um, I bounced around. I was in, with the alpha male guys, and then Arizona Combat guys. And then here in Florida, there's an awesome Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym, Panama City BJJ's Team Centurion is a new gym that's open here, about a year old at the most. And what it is I don't think one or the other is better than the other ones. It's finding what works in each one and putting them all together. And I think that's really great for a fighter because it makes you a multi-dimensional person. You stick in one place and you only get one place. It might carry you so long, but you can always learn something new from everybody else. And I've been to other camps across the world. I remember one time I had a chance to go just to be with Joe Warren for a couple of days up in
Oh wow.
Denver, and just little things I pick up from that guy. It always adds to your game. And I think GSP is one of the great examples of how that can work.
Yeah, that's true. So there was you went through a rough patch in your career where you were through a fight stretch, only 1-4. Do you think moving around from kind of actually helped you overcome that rough patch, and now you're on a 3-fight win streak?
Yes, I do definitely. That rough patch, and that's where I get the little nickname, the Ronin, because I was on my own.
Oh
That's when I
wow.
left. Yeah, I left, and I was used to being in a camp with, had Arizona Combat, and then had Uriah and those guys, the Team Alpha Male, but all that traveling kind of sucked in a way because I'm a family person. My mother's a widow, and I have a sister and two nephews. So I was gone for years, following the fighter, living the fighter life, following fighter dream, and I just hit a burnt out stage where I just wanted to go back around my family. But at that time, there wasn't any gym here, and there wasn't sufficient training. So I learned firsthand that no matter where you're at or how good or decent you think you are, can't do it all on your own. And I had to learn the hard way. So I went back, and now I've been on a roll since I got back to working with other people to help me out.
And then staying with your 3-fight winning streak, how does that play into this fight coming up, and with that momentum going? And how confident do you feel now that you have a good streak going on?
Well, I feel really confident, and momentum to me, momentum is an aspect of each part of your life. It takes momentum to do anything. You want to
Yeah.
be good at your job in a cubicle. You got to get the momentum going so you can be good and then get recognized, by your superiors or whatever. And I have the momentum going now, and this is the thing a lot of people don't know about me. I never had an amateur career in fighting. My amateur career was basically learning on the job, and I was an amateur when I fought for Strikeforce Challengers, and I fought a Balquachu at the time. I believe was a top 10 ranked featherweight.
Yeah.
That was an amateur in the ring with them,
Wow.
and I did well. We went to decision. A lot of people think it's controversial. Put him on the floor a couple times, but now I finally feel that like I'm a professional, and I think my little streak it shows that I'm comfortable and I'm more confident than ever. The level of confidence I have is uh is unquestionable to me. I know where I'm at now. There's no questions. I'm not getting in there worried about winning or losing. I'm getting there and just enjoying the sport and having fun. And I'm confident in what I can do now.
Sticking with your overall MMA game, do you think there's an aspect of your fighting style that your maybe past opponents have overlooked in you? Like, do you think like you're superior on the ground, power, strength? Like, where do your strengths lie? You believe?
Well, I don't like to say my strengths lie anywhere because even though I came from a boxing background,
Hmm.
I wrestled for high school and had all did just about every martial art you can think of. And since I've been in MMA, I've had to figure out how to put all that together. And then living with Uriah and all those guys, the wrestling I got there, and then even at Arizona Combat Sports, you got guys like Jamie Varner and John Raga over there now, who I was just training with. The, one aspect that I definitely think is overlooked is my wrestling and my
Hmm.
grappling and where I'm at on the ground. I'm really confident and comfortable on the ground. It's just I've never really been there too much in any fight,
Yeah.
and except for the one time I got stopped, and that was I have no excuses for that. But like I said, I wasn't a comfortable with who I was as a fighter at that point.
That's great stuff, Tito. We wish you best of luck this coming October 4th in your bantamweight bout at MSC 38 against Anthony Burkchek. Before we let you go, you want to give a shout out to anybody?
Yeah, I always give a shout out to first of all, I give a shout out to the Most High. I wouldn't be here speaking right now if there wasn't something bigger and greater than me
Yep.
that lives in and through me and allows me to do what I do. Um, and also my manager Chuck. Chuck, I can't pronounce his damn last name for anything. I just call him Chuck W. He's awesome. Rev Gear for sponsoring me. Got a couple other sponsors out there. Sorry, I don't got your names. Uh, it's horrible. I don't remember, but I got to get that information from Chuck.
Nah, don't
Uh,
worry.
Arizona Combat Sports. Trevor Lawley out there. He's an amazing coach. Helped me out a lot. Panama City BJJ here in Panama City, Florida. And to all the fans out there in Canada, yeah, I got to put those guys and all across that voted for
Yeah.
Anthony.
Yeah.
Those guys need to go first. That's who definitely deserves a shout out for making us the main event. That's basically it, guys.
All right, Tito. Thanks a lot, man. Really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us, man. I wish you best of luck on your upcoming bout.
Hey, thanks a lot. I appreciate you guys having me on. You guys have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please visit FiveRoundMMA.com on our social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. FiveRoundMMA.com. We have a big event coming up. It's MFC 38. We're going to preview the 3 title bouts, and we begin with Anthony Hamilton versus Somalia Rama for the heavyweight title.
Well, I think we start off with MFC as a whole. I mean, 3 title bouts on one card. That's pretty amazing.
Yes.
MFC, the second longest running organization in North America. I mean, they do it again, giving the fans what they want. They even had the fans opportunity to vote for the main event.
And they,
So-
And then Albert was looking up all the alumni they had in the past.
I mean, Emmanuel Nguyen came from there. Yeah, a bunch of people that
A lot of names you'll recognize, MMA fans will
yeah,
recognize. So
Ryan Jimbo, who's pretty big in UFC right now.
So
Even Patrick Cote at 1.5 for them. So they got plenty. Sir Pat Healy,
Yeah.
Douglas Lima.
a
Come
lot
on.
of guys have come through the doors of MFC.
Yeah.
this looks good for them because now we have 3 titles on the line.
Yeah. Like you said, we start with Anthony Hamilton, who is 10-2 with only 2 losses. So this guy's been on a tear. He has about a good 4-fight win streak. I mean, his last loss was to submission, and everyone always gets caught.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a fact. He had an impressive way of wins. I mean, his last fight was a TKO. So Anthony Hamilton, no joke, and he's a true heavyweight. At that, I think that's something really to point out when you have a true heavyweight. Instead of a guy that looks like he's just a heavy fighter. No, this guy is 265. I mean, he's a true heavyweight, not like any other heavyweight. Not like Pat Barry's what I'm trying to say. Not to be mean,
That guy who's
but like
short,
Pat Barry.
do the
Someone,
cardio.
someone that should be in the light heavyweight. This guy really should be in the heavyweight division.
Well, his opponent, Shlamano Rama, is actually an Alberta native, so he should have the Canadian crowd behind him, full force. 6-0 with
Impressive 6-0.
Yeah, he's all 3 finishes. So.
All finishes. So that's
So you think it's knockout's gonna happen in this fight?
Well, yeah, you got 2
Well,
heavy,
yeah,
two heavy-handed guys. And
Well, who knows? I think Rama's submission game might come into the factor here because he's
Rama seems to be looking like the more overall better fighter as far as ground and stand up. I mean, obviously both of them can have knockout power, and both of them do have the submission capabilities. But Rama seems to be the more of the 2 that's well rounded.
Now my question to you guys is: Rama's 21 years old.
Yeah, that's
actually a big.
So what do you
factor
see
there.
the potential for Rama going forward? Even if he wins this fight, loses this
Well,
fight.
being undefeated and young is a big thing in this sport. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Jones, how young he was, and how in his streak. I mean, Eisen Gustafsson at one point was undefeated and young as well. I mean, Rama can be just right up there, and he's in a division that lacks a lot of talent. I mean, if you really look at the heavyweight division, there's only a handful of pure talent.
Because even standing down in the UFC,
Yeah.
the World Series of Fighting, where is the heavyweight division? Same thing with
Bellator,
Bellator.
too.
So Rama, I mean, he can grasp onto this and almost shoot to stardom. I mean, 6-0, that's a good start.
Yeah,
and all finishes, everyone likes.
So
finishes.
you think MFC has a star in the making here?
I think so.
I think so, too.
It's gonna be a tough fight though.
Yeah.
Let's not underestimate. I mean, Anthony Hamilton isn't someone to underestimate, but Rama does have the potential to become a superstar.
I think and too being him Canadian, I think they kind of see like maybe the diamond in the rough here.
Yeah.
If we could polish this guy off, because I mean, look how much money George St. Pierre makes. I mean, if a Canadian fighter is good, the Canadian crowd will get behind him 100% and support him through thick and thin. So they could find something here. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. So let's move on to the next bout. It's Sam Alvey versus our guest from last week, Jason South, for the middleweight title.
Yeah, and we pointed out Jason South. I mean, he fought in tough.
Yeah.
And,
Both these guys
well, they
were
both did.
on the
Yeah, they
same
both did,
season,
but-
or competed.
Yeah,
So,
Jason's actually 10-0. He started late in his career, so he's kind of a Randy Couture story.
yeah.
And there's no hiding. He's a submission
submission.
guy.
It's almost like
standard grappler.
yeah, it's like
matchup.
a matchup of styles. Who's going to prevail, the knockout artist and Alvey, or Jason South, the ground submissions specialist? So I mean, it'd be interesting to see what South can do to neutralize Alvey's power, because
Yeah.
Alvey's known for his power. So if he could, I think if this fight goes to the ground, it should be all South.
Yeah.
So-
The only thing I see is Sam Alvey. I mean, he is a stand-up fighter, but that can also play into his weakness,
Yeah,
where he wants to keep it standing so badly that he starts getting sloppy and maybe getting desperate in the thing. While I think I see Jason actually pushing the pace more, maybe mixing it up rather than just standing up, and I think that's going to be Sammy's downfall. To tell you the
Yeah.
truth.
Well, just to not defend, but I mean to support Sam Alvey, he does have 2 submission wins.
yeah.
So I
he
mean,
probably-
he's
yeah. People underestimate that.
his
aspect of
submission
his
game,
game.
just because Jason South
Well,
does
that's
have
true.
10 submission
Yeah.
wins.
But it's also hard to overlook someone
Oh,
that
yeah,
has
it's
won
hard to
10
overlook.
submission wins. You know,
it's such a specialist on the ground that
Yeah.
it's kind of like when Damon Meyer in the UFC. This guy's, what he's gonna get, and anything else is just like frosting on the cake. So
Yeah.
But out of Alvey's 5 losses, 1 is a submission. So I think he is kind of hard to capture. But I think it'd be a great fight for matchup wise. I mean, I think these type of matchups are very interesting.
and this one's for the American fans since they're both Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's move on to the main event. The fans voted it as the fight they wanted to see. It got bumped to the main event. It's
Yeah.
Anthony Birchek versus Tito Jones for the inaugural bantamweight title.
I think this is huge. That finally other organizations are getting to the smaller weight class.
Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
said, and I think everyone believes that. I mean, these smaller weight classes are actually the most exciting ones because these
Yeah.
guys go 200 miles per hour and nothing but action pack. And I think they were lucky enough to get these 2 guys, especially Anthony Birchek. I mean, the guy only has 1 loss and he's on a tear, so we should see an exciting fight here.
Yeah, Birchek, I think, has a lot of potential. I think they see in him. Known as a wrestler, basically, but he has superior ground game, 5 submission victories. So, and I think, but 3 KOs. I think he's on well on his way to becoming a well-rounded fighter.
Well,
so.
I think he's well-rounded. He has 3 KOs,
Yeah.
5 submissions, and then 2 decisions. So
Yeah, well, his last fight was a decision too, so it could be like something to look at too, especially since Tito Jones is also a knockout artist too.
Yeah, this could be
so-
like a toss-up. I think these
Yeah.
guys are kind of evenly matched. They're both kind of, not to say. I mean, Tito Jones is a veteran of the sport, but they're almost kind of like on the same path now. I mean, Birchek's on a 4-fight win streak. Jones on 3-fight win streak. It's kind of like
Exactly.
this guy who's up and coming, as opposed to Jones, who's like finally figured it out. Now he's on a roll. So I think it's an interesting matchup. So we should see. I think a great fight all around.
Yeah,
I think.
and actually, I would also like they're both 5'8",
Yeah.
which is actually pretty big, I think, for a
Bantamweight?
bantamweight.
yeah.
Because I mean, look at Dominic Cruz, who's around the same size, and the dominant that he performed
Yeah.
in that weight class. So that's
Well-
also something to look out for.
And then the other thing is Tito Jones has fought very good talent. I mean, I know he has a loss against George Roop,
Yeah.
but I mean, George Roop is,
Yeah,
in
he's
the
in
UFC.
the UFC.
Yeah.
And it went into decision. So, I mean, like, he's been battle tested.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but either way, it's gonna be an action-packed fight. I mean, I think the lower weight classes always bring it, regardless of who it is.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the ones usually to fight. I mean, the ones usually you want to see.
Yeah.
well, I mean, if you want to see a fast pace,
Oh yeah, I mean,
jumping around the cage, trying all these
crazy moves,
but not getting tired after it. So, I mean, it should set up a very
Yeah.
incredible main
Very
event.
very balanced card at that too. I mean, you're gonna get the heavyweights, you're gonna get the lower weights, and then you're
Yeah.
gonna get something
It
in
gets
between.
right in the middle, the middleweights, right?
A perfect sandwich.
So that's it for
That's it for
covering MFC 38. So
make sure it's going to be October 4th at the Shaw Conference Center in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. You can watch it live in the United States on Access TV or in Canada on TSN. And make sure to check out MaximumFighting.com for all your MFC info. And that should be it for today, right?
yeah, that's it for today. Just a special thanks to Scott Zur.
Yeah, big thank you for
Yeah,
this
big
up.
thank you. So that's it for today's show.
All right, so make sure to check me in next week. I will preview UFC Fight Night, Shields versus Maya. I know Albert's very excited to see Jake Shields back in the octagon, right?
You're a
no,
Damian Maya fan.
I'm excited for Damian Maya to choke out Jake Shields.
Oh, okay, we'll see.
Hey,
But,
Jake Shield has a good ground game.
yeah, we'll cover that card next week. Until then, make sure to follow us on Twitter at 5RoundMMA. Subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube. Make sure to like us on Facebook. We're also on Instagram. So check out our photos there. I think MySpace is in the works still, no?
No,
No.
MySpace.
We
Okay.
dropped it.
All right, no MySpace. All right, and check out 5roundmma.com for weekly articles and commentaries and the day's top headlines. I want to give a big thank you to all of our sponsors, starting with Honey Badger Performance Energy Drinks. Grab a scoop. Get the most out of your workout at drinkhoney.badger.com. I want to thank the Madhouse clothing lines, clothes for the fight and fight fanatic. Go shop at themadhouse.com and follow them on Twitter at the Madhouse MMA. And also a big thank you to MMA Victor, Fantasy MMA. Go play against your friends, fans around the world, see how much you really do know about MMA, and go get your picks on at MMAVictor.com and follow them on Twitter at MMA Victor. And a big thank you to Top Rated MMA, makers of 100% American-made MMA apparel. Go shop topratedmma.com and follow them on Twitter at topratedmma.
And then can I make like some breaking news real quick?
Go for it.
Our articles are going to be on Overtime Dan, so check them out. Very good website. We'll be contributing our articles on there. So not only can you go to 5Round MMA, but you can also go to Overtime as well.
There you go.
There you go.
Get all your sports knowledge you need now.
Yep.
Yeah, so look for articles next week.
Yeah, and I like to thank everybody for listening in. I like to thank our executive producer, Guillermo Cita, our engineer, Ollie the Trolley, our sound engineer, Steven Rosal with Rosal Records. You got any audio needs, hit them up at Rosal Records. And thanks again for everybody for listening.
Cream of the crop.